Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV Live. I'm your host, Peter Lee. With me today in the command center is, well, you know, he's one of Santa's helpers. He's also the director, TV guy, everything. He does everything. He makes this all possible. He makes it happen. It's my husband, Bill Gortimer.
And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching us from, whether it be live or in replay. From southern New Jersey near Philadelphia, where it's 65 degrees out today. It's utterly balmy.
Yes. So we're going to open some champagne because besides New Year, we are celebrating something pretty special. You want to tell them all what it is, dear?
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yes, we have hit and surpassed now 10,000 subscribers. Yes, hold that please, so I don't. Let's see if I can not overfull the glasses like I normally do. Because
we don't drink enough champagne. This is our favorites, Moet and Chandon.
Yeah, and as much as we love our sparkling wines from Long Island, this is the real deal from France, from the Champagne region in France.
Onwards to 100,000.
Yes.
Keep it nice and cold.
Yeah. Yes, dear.
That's good stuff.
Yes, it is. A little sweeter than some of our sparklings from Long Island, but that's okay. All right. Anything else to talk about?
And Ben's giving us from Pepper Tree Villa.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh, we haven't seen Cooking with Andrea for a while.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Andrea. And Ben and Pepper Tree Villa peeps, we did get our ornament. Thank you. All right. So 10,000 plus subscribers.
Oh, there we go. Oops.
What was that?
I keep hitting the wrong screen. There we go.
Oh. Hey guys, sunrise at 10,000. Thanks, Janine. Thank you.
You'll get there.
Yeah, before you know it. I think when I checked a few minutes ago, it was at like 10,041 or 42.
Yeah, we're getting about 350 to 400 a month right now. We're doing really well.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right. Now, see, I slipped out my notes when you all weren't looking. All about New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, shenanigans, traditions, whatever, memories, stories, crazy stuff. So, anything before I dive into this, dear?
No.
Okay.
So I thought this was kind of fun.
So, my favorite New Year's Eve was 1999 and the whole Y2K scare. Yeah, those are good times. All the prep everyone did and turned out to be nothing. Oh well. So, New Year's Eve. Now, we all know what it is, right? It's in the Gregorian calendar that we follow, that most people do. It's also known as Old Year's Day. And it's the evening or maybe the entire day. It's the last day of the year, which is December 31st. And in many countries, New Year's Eve is often celebrated with dancing, eating, drinking, and watching or lighting fireworks, which is certainly a lot of the shenanigans that go on here in this country. Now, some Christians, and I know several who do this, they attend a watch night service, which is watching the old year go out and come in, and there's all kinds of ceremonies that they do. Varies per denomination in Christianity, but it's the concept of it is similar. But the celebrations generally go on well past midnight and into New Year's Day, which is the 1st of January. Now, here's a little trivia, which I found was really kind of neat. Did you ever stop and wonder who sees the New Year's first? Where in the globe sees it first? Well, the answer to that is it's the Line Islands, which is part of Kiribati. So the Line Islands, Samoa, and Tonga, which are in the Pacific Ocean. Those are the first places to welcome in the new year, while American Samoa, Baker Island, and Howland Island, part of the United States minor outlying islands, are among the last. And that is because they are on opposite sides of the international date line. So I found that kind of fascinating. Worst watch night service I attended as a kid. Oh, that kind of scares me. Ben, it sounds like maybe one of those yeah.
Wait. So now, I got to tell you his response to that. Hold on. Here we go.
The pastor spoke until 12:10, no countdown. Oh, heavenly days. That would be terrible.
Yeah, so like when we went on a cruise to see the fireworks and the ship was facing the
I'm
wrong
going to talk
way.
about that, dear. I'm going to talk about that a little later in my notes. So, let's do some cooking, shall we? It is, after all, a cooking show.
Before you do that, here's your worst nightmare.
Christine says we go to Times Square in New York City and watch the ball drop. Yeah, no, I can't. I don't do well in crowds. There's too many people, too many emotions, too much energy. So that, yeah, poor Phil, he'll never get to go.
I'll never get to go. Well, I've been, but we'll never go as a couple because Peter, he would pass out in a crowd like that, where I would be me and my oldest daughter would be in great revelry.
Yes, and Phil's seen me in full panic attack mode, and it's not pretty. Okay, so let's get cooking.
Well, you're not alone. Either just Janine.
Oh, good. Thank you, Janine. It's not just me then. I don't mind crowds. Like, I went out at the height of, Ben says Times Square sounds, yeah. I like the idea of it, but no.
50,000 people and no bathrooms.
No, they have bathrooms. But, yeah, ew. Yeah. I went out at the height of Christmas, like last weekend, the weekend before Christmas. I said, I gotta finish my shopping. So I went out, and it was fun. The stores were busy, but not crazy. But there's still that nice amount of energy to keep me motivated. And I did all the stores and the mall. And our mall is very, very busy. It's in, you hear of malls closing, not ours. But that was about all I had. And by the time I got home, I was exhausted. So let's cook. One of the traditions, and I'll talk more about this as we go on, but having pork for New Year's, be it New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So today we're going to make a stuffed pork roast. So I have here this beautiful loin of pork. And I bought a great big giant one, and I cut it into 3 pieces.
This is fun.
I'm not going to stand around for hours with no real access to a clean toilet for the click of a clock. Exactly, Ben, exactly. I'd rather be in a nice restaurant, or better yet, home, where it's safe and warm and dry, and there's a bathroom on every floor. Anyway, we need to butterfly this to be able to stuff it. Very easy. Take a nice sharp knife. Now I like to go in kind of like this on an angle, carefully. No need to rush, and this does not have to be perfect. But I'm not cutting all the way through. And then we're going to kind of go the same way this way. Let me turn it, maybe we can see it better. And we're just going to open it up. Kind of like that. So it's kind of flat-ish. You could be much more careful than I was and get it perfectly flat. But it's not really a big deal for this application. Now, I'm going to season this a little bit on the inside because we have this great opportunity. A little salt and pepper. Not too much, but a little. Especially the pepper. I like a lot of pepper.
You can talk about these.
That's a serious knife. I don't allow myself near those types of kitchen tools. I ruined a crock pot. I'd like to hear that story, how you ruined a crock pot.
Is that your 10-inch knife?
No, this is just an 8-inch chef's knife. I have a 10-inch one. That's, you know, that long. Yeah, I love these knives. I can't imagine. My mother would never use her chef's knife. She had one, she never used it. And when I started cooking and was first time I cooked at home and used her chef's knife, she was, "What are you doing? You don't need that big knife." It's like,
I'm a big researcher, and Peter is very fussy about knives because it isn't so much the sharpest or the best, it's what feels good in your hands.
Right, because when you're like chopping and cutting and things for 8, 10, 12 hours, it needs to be comfortable in your hand. And
so I researched these, and these are Mercer Culinary, and they're not well known. They're very well known in the culinary schools because they make student kits.
Right.
And I bought him a test set about 10 years ago now.
No, it's been since we lived in this house, dear.
Yeah, and we're on our...
for one of my birthdays.
Yeah, and now it's the only knives we use, and we're on 3 sets of them now.
Anyway, so I butterfly this out. I've seasoned it. Now we want to stuff it. Hey guys, hey Pepper Tree, Arnie, and Doug. Yes, we got the ornament. Thank you. Okay, great. We're going to stuff it with some apples and onions. Now, what I did was I've sliced them all, seasoned them with salt and pepper and a little bit of thyme, and I just sweated them down a little bit to get them started. In this type of application, you could put them in raw, but then they might not cook all the way through, so I find a little saute just to sweat down a little bit is going to help them cook through. So this is 1 apple and half of a very large onion. So we're really just going to pop this in. Put that over here. Now here comes the fun part. We do want to close that up, and hopefully it will be nice for me and close.
You got strings down there?
I do have strings.
Okay.
I've got some strings. Now, I know there's this technique where you make a loop, and you put it on, you loop it, and you use one piece of string. I've never been very good at that, so I like to do this way. I just have some pre-measured, all cut out, and we're just going to put them out. I probably should have done this first, but oh well. You know, I don't get upset when I make mistakes in the kitchen. unless I've done something like ruin a pan or burn the turkey or the stuffing. Then I'll have a moment.
Oh, that's right. It's lunchtime. It's 11:30 by those guys.
Yeah. All right, so I have 4 here.
Yes. Janine knows how to do it. She watched Martha Stewart.
Yes. Well, I did learn that in school. I don't do it enough to really. All right, so we've got these on here. I'm just going to start tying them up. And this is one of those things, you know, it's going to add lots of flavor. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's going to taste good. Too often, I think people get worried about, oh my God, that's not blah, blah, blah. Doesn't look like they did on TV. That's okay. You know, practice makes perfect. And you do these few things a few times, and you'll get better and better. Now, I'm doing kind of a surgeon's knot instead of a square knot in that I'm taking one side, I'm wrapping it over a couple of times, because when you do this, that helps it stay. Tying this, and you'll often see, I got a little extra, that's all right. You'll see roasts that are tied that are not stuffed. And what that does is it keeps its shape so it cooks more evenly. Rick says, we used to go out at midnight and bang pots and pans. I'm not sure if that's a real tradition, but that's what my family did. You know, mine did too, and I never understood it, but everyone in our neighborhood did it. I think it has something to do with scaring away the old year, helping go out and celebrating in the new, or maybe it was just because everyone was drunk and wanted to make a bunch of noise. And we didn't have fireworks because they were illegal in New Jersey at that time. I don't know.
So,
okay.
Tell us in chat, what is one of your New Year's Eve traditions or New Year's Day traditions? And or what special food do you cook for either one of them? That's a tradition.
I have a story. I have a great story. I think I've told this before, but I know not everyone has been watching. So I have a New Year's Eve ghost story. And this is actually one of the earlier New Year's Eves that I remember as a kid. So I grew up in an old house. And it was a big house with a lot of rooms, but they were all kind of small. And in the main part of the house, in the front, there was 4 rooms. There was a living room, what we called a foyer. I don't know why. It was like a den, a dining room, and then the kitchen. And then behind the kitchen were other rooms. Hi, Keith. So in these 4 rooms, there were connecting doors, so you could go round robin, which as little kids we all did. Until my mother started closing some of them, so we wouldn't do that. But anyway, they had this one party, New Year's Eve's, and my parents were really gifted in throwing parties together. And because that time of year, my mother always kept stuff around, and people would just show up at our house. I don't know why. So people just started showing up on New Year's Eve, and we were having this great time. There were snacks and whatever, there's music. All the doors were open. People were all over the house. So my dad was in this back room that we used. It would have been the dining room. We used it more as like that was the formal living room, and this was the family room. So he was in there, and he wandered out into the kitchen, and he saw this woman come in the front door into the living room, and she turned right and went to the foyer. And he's like, oh, who's that? Let me go offer her a drink and say hello. So he went back into the den and into the foyer, and there was no one there. Okay, well, the stairs were there. So we thought maybe she went upstairs. Maybe she's looking for a bathroom. So hold on. So he goes upstairs. There's no one upstairs. He comes back down and says to one of my brothers, I saw this woman, young, attractive woman, wearing a white blouse with this frill on it. And my brother said, yeah, I saw her too. I saw her walk from the living room into the foyer, but I don't see where she went after that. So they look all over the house. They couldn't find her, and went on with the party. So that's great. So a couple weeks later, they were out. My mom went out shopping on her own and came home with this blouse. And it was the exact same blouse that my dad saw this woman wearing with the frills and everything. So he was a little freaked out about that. So now we're wondering, who was this young woman he saw that apparently walked into our house and never left? You were going to laugh at something here?
I did.
Okay. I've had a few New Year's Eves in the past where we've gotten ready for bed, sat around PJs playing Scrabble until we're bored with Ryan Seacrest. Yes. Yeah, that's actually my favorite kind of New Year's. Yeah. Oh, we eat lentils at midnight. Yeah, that's a tradition. We'll talk about that. Lentils and things that are round, shapes like coins. All right, so this is almost ready. The tradition in the Midwest and in parts of the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, is to have this with sauerkraut. Not necessarily a stuffed pork roast, but some sort of pork and sauerkraut or a sausage. We had Italian neighbors in our old house who always made a porchetta. So I have some sauerkraut here from a can. Oh no, Pete, you didn't make your own sauerkraut? So this is kind of I like. I like it because it's cabbage, water, and salt. Some of the other brands have extra stuff in them. So if I have to struggle to pronounce a word, it makes me a little leery. But this is pretty pure. And I like the can. I just like the can better than the bagged kind you get in the deli section or the refrigerator section. So I have 2 cans here. Probably more than I need, but I like sauerkraut. I mean, and you're opening a can. So how hard is that? Whatever brand you like.
We actually used to only ever use the sauerkraut in the bags, and we watched a session on America's Test Kitchen.
Yeah.
And they resoundingly said that almost all of them in the bags had little flavor and the cans was better. We didn't believe it. We actually tried it.
Ben says not a fan of sauerkraut. Well, you can omit it. I like it. It doesn't always like me, but it's worth it. So this is going to go in here. And you're probably wondering, okay, pork and sauerkraut, but why the apples and onions? Here's some extra we're just going to scatter in. Well, all these flavors go well together. The apples and cabbage, they go well. Apples kind of counteract a little bit of the sour funkiness from the sauerkraut. Just adds more flavors. Of course, pork and apple. So all these flavors, the pork, the onions, the apple, the thyme, and the sauerkraut, it all just goes together. Now, I know the sauerkraut's very salty. Hold that thought here. But I want to put a little bit on the top of this. And, of course, pepper. Now, this is ready for the oven. I don't know, I would cook it at 350 till it reached an internal temperature
135 to finish at 140.
Yeah.
A little pink is okay.
Yeah. So this is cooking in the oven. And I would not cover it because I want this fat cap to brown. I want the tops of the sauerkraut to get a little caramelized, which just makes them, adds a whole other flavor level. Let's put this aside. And you probably notice there's a crock pot behind me. We'll get to that. All right, my Asian American culture enjoys a bowl of toshikoshi soba, or year-end noodles. They are a soba noodle made from buckwheat and longer than usual to symbolize longevity. Well, yeah, and that actually sounds good. All over the world, countries have various traditions that are similar than that, actually. Let's get rid of this.
Ben, we are amateurs compared to you guys in the 50 trees, and the studio here is small.
Over to my right, I have another Christmas tree, so we have 4 Christmas trees in the house.
Yeah, as much as this studio kitchen looks big, we're only...
It's very small.
It's very small. We are literally between this and the cameras and me back here in the control room.
Yep.
It's 5 feet by 7 feet. So, yeah, we don't have room. And last year we actually put decorations up on the cabinets there, and when we peeled them off, it messed up the finish. So we said, no more in the studio.
Yeah, there's a practical limit. Okay, so, where was I? All over the world, there are different traditions. My mouth, excellent, Andrea. Various countries, like the person who wrote in Asia, they do noodles. In Italy, they do sausages and lentils. Lentils are a big thing around the world. Hello, Jean. Welcome to LCTV. But what about here in America? I've just got sauerkraut all over now.
You got schmutz everywhere?
I do. I got all schmutzy. So, you know, of course, it's a cooking show, so let's talk about food traditions. You know, there's a lot of symbolism in what we eat for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Many New Year's foods are chosen based on their symbolic meaning. Green vegetables, collards, kale, things, of course, represent money because it's green. Things that are round, like lentils, sausage coins, you know, sliced sausage, or even sausage in general, signify coins, also wealth and prosperity. And fish and pork symbolize progress due to their forward moment. And pork, because pigs snuff out truffles, and when they do that, they dig and truffle forward. So they're always going forward towards a very luxurious, expensive prize. And of course, fish don't swim backwards, they only swim forwards. So that's what those symbols are for. You were going to say something?
So Gene just subscribed to this channel.
Oh, thank you.
He was one of the few that helped push us over 10,000.
Mazel tov.
Which
Thank you.
happened, ironically, at 5 minutes to 12 on Christmas Day. So you want to talk about a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, it was a great Christmas present. Now, there are regional variations in America. It's a big country. So, for example, in the South, the preference is black-eyed peas and collard greens. Hoppin' John, right? Which is pork and black-eyed peas. And I thought about making it,
and
but
rice.
I've never made it before. Midwest, parts of Northeast, often eat pork and sauerkraut, which is what we made today, because that's what I grew up eating. And I never understood, like, why are I heavy here? So this was a pork loin. You could do pork chops. You could do a fresh ham. You could do the butt. Hello, Lance and Ken and Mr. Charleston from Long Island. So other traditions here in the U.S. are parties and the ball drops. Someone mentioned going to New York and watching the ball drop. And that's like a big thing. We all watch the countdown, whether from home or from a place. But it's not just the ball or the apple. It's been an apple sometimes in New York City. Other parts of the country, in Georgia, they have a peach, since that's the peach state. And I think it's Wisconsin is one of the Midwestern. And I want to say Wisconsin because they're all about cheese, that they have a big wedge of cheese that drops. What?
Yeah, the cheese heads.
Yeah. Now, so our traditions, Lara says, for my family, New Year's Day is all about watching football on TV and relaxing. Yeah, relaxing. I think we need some more champagne, dear.
Okay, don't have to tell me twice.
Because it's 4 o'clock. Do you want to do your bit?
Yeah, well, pour my drink first.
Oh, okay.
Tell you what, while I go get ready, you pour and deliver.
I'll deliver to you.
And
you
then
go do you, dear.
I'll push the magic button. And this one was fun.
Yes, you're going to like this one.
You're going to like this one. So let me get all that up. Actually, before I do that, let me put her in the chat. Okay. And let's do this. And as everyone knows, we are big champions of finding small to medium channels that do the same thing we do. And today I want you to introduce to Val's Looney Kitchen. And I have to tell you, before I show you this, when I watched these earlier in the week and I found them through Black Cat Kitchen, I literally had to change my shirt. I snorted coffee out my nose. Val is a comedian. She lives in Chicago area, and she is a baker. And all of her videos are about baking, and these things are funny. The great part about them is you are learning something while you're laughing.
The glaze
and they
on
are
top
good
complements
episodes. And kudos to whoever does her editing, because these are just amazing.
Each taste. Hey,
Absolutely
Chessie's been
amazing.
out there a long time now.
And
you
they
know
are
she's having a
spot
blast
on.
wherever she is.
They're almost all baking.
Has her learner's
she does
permit,
occasionally
and
just
she's
do
been
general
away since
shorts.
we made the vertical.
She has a few shorts that are out there. But as you can already see, she loves her costumes, and they are really, really good. I watched these black tie cupcakes, and I spit up a lung when she said she's celebrating divorce.
These are great celebration cupcakes.
Really good stuff. She has a very, very great Facebook page.
New Year's.
So if you get a chance, hop on over, check her out, and
I'm just saying, most people.
And hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave her a comment. Tell her you found us through Let's Celebrate TV, and help her out. And she's doing really good. Okay, back to you.
Just a moment.
Oh, you're not ready? Well, it's back to you.
Oh, well, sorry, my back was to the camera. Oh, well. I'm trying not to be too sarcastic today because we upset people last live stream, and I was told I'm a horrible person. And
the link...
Yeah.
Excuse me. The link for Val's Looney Kitchen is in the description of the YouTube channel, and I just dropped it in the chat.
Thank you, dear. So let's share some New Year's Eve
this
stories.
is good.
What?
Oops, hold on.
Go ahead. We did a live stream last New Year's Eve with Velveteen Lounge Kiss Jen. We dropped our own disco ball in the kitchen. That's great. That's awesome. Why don't we have a disco ball, dear? I've always wanted a disco ball.
Gay men and a disco ball. Really?
Hello?
Really?
Why do not we have one in this house? My goodness. Anyway. So let's talk about stories and shenanigans and things like that happen on New Year's Eve. One of my... What? You want one too? Yeah, see? See,
so
it's not just me.
Come to Jersey
Janine,
and visit us,
right?
and we'll send you home with one.
Got some schmutz on this apron. Anyway, one of my favorite New Year's Eves was, oh gosh, were we in this? We must have been in this house because our friend Keith, who's watching, came down and spent New Year's with us, and we went to the aquarium during the day, and we went all over, and then we went to a murder mystery dinner. Do you remember that? Without a Cube Productions.
I think that was in this house, yeah.
And it was just Keith. It wasn't... we went and picked him up, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. And Keith, you probably remember this. We went and saw this murder mystery dinner, and it was silly fun up near New Hope in Lahaska. Or wherever it is. Anyway, right next to New Hope. New Hope adjacent. But yeah, it was a fun night. It was a silly night. It was... I don't remember what the story was.
It was the Adams something.
No. That was way before. Oh, I know. It was a Christmas themed one, and because we went back to them later, and the same person playing Mrs. Claus in that one played Rose in the Golden Girls one that we saw after that. And I pulled her aside and I said, "Do you know you look like Mrs. Claus?" And she goes, "Oh, you saw that one." But yeah, that was a great night, and it was just silly fun. And we were home early, so we weren't out too late. And we got home, watched the ball drop on TV, clinked our little champagne, and then I think we were all in bed by 12:15. It was a perfect New Year's, in other words, for me. Maria says, if you live anywhere near Philadelphia, then you are attending or watching the Mummers Parade. Yeah, should we explain to... I don't know where everyone is. Are we doing a map today?
No.
Okay.
No map.
But we have people from all over. We should probably explain the Mummers to them. I'm not sure if I can, dear. You want to give it a shot? It's a Philadelphia tradition.
It is a Philadelphia tradition. It is the second longest parade in the U.S.
Yeah.
Actually, the Philadelphia Thanksgiving is the oldest in the country. Think of a marching band with feathers, tea lights, and the world.
And they are
shows. They are very, very fancy. There are different divisions.
Yeah, there's
called
comics, string bands,
right?
And the fancies, and there's
a few others.
Yeah. So
wenches.
you can Google them. The what?
Yeah, the wenches. And it goes for 6
that.
hours. It starts at 8 in the
least,
morning,
at least.
goes to 2. Prizes are given out every year.
Longer than that. And it's there, all these crazy costumes and themes, and they do dances and skits, and it's silly. But it's a Philadelphia tradition. And the great thing is they do this on New Year's Day. On January 2nd, they're all in their clubhouses planning next year's nonsense. We actually know several mummers. John Ringa from camp.
Yep.
There are a few others that we know that are mummers. So Google them if you don't know what it is, and then see if you can find it on some of the streaming channels, because it's just a crazy Philadelphia tradition. And it used to be, there you go. It used to be, it was only white men. And then in my lifetime, and then they started allowing people of color in, only men. And then I want to say in the 80s.
Yep.
Or late 70s, they started allowing women in, and now, everyone can be in it, which is
feathers,
wonderful.
floats, music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Mummers. It is something very unique to the Philadelphia area.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to watch. And you have to wonder, like, where do they get these ideas? And the amount of work that they put into all of that. So that's one of my traditions, too, is I always try and have the Mummers Parade on New Year's Day.
Oh, Lance says they've got a mini disco ball. So maybe we'll have to mail it down to...
I want one, like, installed somewhere. I had a friend when I was growing up around the corner. Feathers everywhere. That's exactly right, Lance. I had a friend one block over when I was growing up.
And sadly, guns at midnight last year in Philadelphia killed 3 people.
We have, and sadly, too, you have banned lots of illegal fireworks and guns. We just went to legal fireworks here in New Jersey, and there's been lots of property damage right here in our little neighborhood. Like we came home from Long Island a couple of years ago, and like, what are all these burn marks in the lawn, and what are all these burn marks on the deck that we just built and had finished 2 months prior, is from people's fireworks and the debris falling down. And great, thank you, people. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. One of my other most favorite New Year's Eves. Do you remember the formal dinner at the aquarium?
I do.
Lance and Ken, were you at that?
No.
They weren't?
It was
I know
Joe
Rich
and
was
Peggy
there. Joe and Peggy.
And Rich.
And Cindy.
And Cindy and you and I.
And me. And I know Lance and Ken that year?
Nope.
It was quite expensive. It was at the aquarium in Camden.
New Jersey Aquarium.
Yeah. What was it, like?
$150 a head.
Person, yeah.
But that was
a full dinner. It was like a 6-hour event, and it was open bar.
And the complete
run of the aquarium, which the aquarium here rivals the one in Baltimore.
And it's right across from Philadelphia's.
Right. So we could just go out
the front doors
and be right on the river to see the fireworks, and the fireworks are right there. But that was a great event. Joe and Peggy, if you're watching, I know you remember, because we all took Ubers there, and it was open bar. So some of our friends might have gone up and, when the bartenders weren't looking, just grabbed a bottle of wine or a bottle of something. And a couple of them, when they walked out with their coats and everything, were like, tink, 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 because they had so many bottles tucked. And formal dinner at Club 33, Disneyland 3 years ago, one of the most memorable. Oh, I'll bet, Ben. That sounds wonderful. I love stuff like that, too. When it's all-inclusive, all in, you go to one place, and there it is. And, dressing up is so much fun. Now, what I remember about that dinner was the level that people dressed up. Like, we were just wearing jacket and ties, suits. I think we went out and bought suits for it. But, like, there were full tuxes with tails. All the women wearing gowns, and there were beads and sequins and high heels and furs for days. It was wonderful.
And a little trivia for the guys out in California. I used to work for Disney World. I lived in Florida in my teenage years and worked there, and then sang in the Disney choir at Christmas. And Rock Hudson was the narrator one year. But I also worked for them. I was a paramedic in the underground hospital system for 3 years.
Now, it's funny. Your mom didn't remember any of that.
She remembered it when I said Rock Hudson, because she remembered that part.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
But she didn't remember anything else. Well, it's all that pot.
and booze. The vodka too, dearie. The vodka too.
All right, let's get back to my list of, here we go.
I'm from the South, so my mother always cooks Hoppin' John for New Year's Eve. Yeah, New Year's Day, rather, yeah. And Hoppin' John is black-eyed peas and ham and vegetables and rice and stuff, and it's a southern dish, and there's variations on that theme. But it's very traditional. Again, black-eyed peas are kind of a roundish shape. They're supposed to symbolize wealth and prosperity and coins and things. Would you like to try this, dear? What I have in my cookery crock?
Oh, let me show everybody over there. Hold on. Let's see. That's the camera.
Okay. So we did the stuffed pork for the oven, but I did the exact same thing in the crock pot. Same roast because it was giant and it was this big, and I cut it down and I popped it in the crock pot. I cut the apples and onions a little differently because we thought of this idea this morning. So nothing like being prepared. So let's take this out. So if you don't want to do it in the oven, you can do it in the crock pot.
That'll be a little bit more cooked through, but...
Right, this took what, about 4, 5 hours?
Yeah.
I got this in a little after 10. Now this was going to be our dinner tonight, but I have a feeling we're going to be ordering out. Because we're going to taste this right now. We haven't had lunch yet. Oh. Alright, I'll use this one. There's no slicer down here.
That set never had a slicer.
Right. So I need to remember that for camp. Now this is falling apart, practically.
Do you want me to get the big 15-incher from upstairs?
No. I can work with this. I have a sharp knife. I would use my chef knife, but it has raw pork on it.
This one would make the pepper tree filler, guys.
We usually take down the Christmas tree on New Year's Day. You know, my mom always did that too, and I tend to as well. Though, to be honest, I've already started putting away a few things, like some of the Christmas platters and things that I'm not going to use in the next couple weeks. I started putting them away. Okay. Ooh, what a time to get an itchy nose. Let's slice this up. Hopefully it's rested. I'm going in thick because it's stuffed and super tender. There we go. Okay, let's do another one.
Spin that around if you can.
I'm trying, dear. Hold on. It's falling apart on me.
Which is what it's supposed to when it's crock-potted.
So you can see there's all that filling in there. Again, apples, onions, salt and pepper, thyme. Now, let's see. We'll leave it this way. Oops.
Yeah, this is me. It's all about the fireworks.
Oh, yeah, that is you. Not this year, dear.
We haven't made the fireworks in a long time.
We made them last year. I don't want to hear it. So last year, all right, I'm gonna deliver this to you, and then I'm gonna talk to you all. Let's give you some sauerkraut.
I could have sworn I had that camera zoomed in. Oh well.
It's okay.
It must have reset.
It's all right, dear. Here's some sauerkraut too. Here we go. Delivering. Oh, thank you, Andrea.
Well,
There you go.
yeah. So look what Lance is bringing up.
Yeah.
You gonna talk about that one?
I'm gonna talk about that one.
Hold on.
Hold that thought, Lance.
Yeah,
Hold that thought. Let me get some pork and probably some more champagne.
I was going to say, I need some more champagne with this. Okay, I can tell you right now, and put it on me, it is fall apart tender.
Yeah, give it a taste and a review.
I normally like my pork a little pink and juicy. Crock potting doesn't kind of lend to that, but it
should be juicy.
Pull apart soft, and it's very juicy. And the apples tone down the sauerkraut for those that are not sauerkraut friendly.
Here you go, dear.
But it's a great bite.
Okay. So yeah, last New Year's Eve. Oy vey. Cheers, dear. So
We were on the budget trip last year.
all right, so I got sick Christmas night with this weird vertigo thing. I don't know what it was, but I was sick in bed for 2 full days. I couldn't get out of bed. And when I did get out of bed, bad things happened. So our friends Lance and Ken from Long Island, past few years we've been trading off. We go up there, they come down here for New Year's Eve. So it was their year to come down to us. And they got here, and I was doing a lot better by New Year's, but I was miserable. I could barely stand. I could barely walk.
Well, say why.
Because I had this issue with vertigo, and we didn't know what was wrong. So for me, and guess what? A year later, I still have it. But it's a lot better. But at that point, it was pretty bad. And so for me, everything felt like I was on a rocking boat. Like everything was doing this constantly doing this, constantly. So I was pretty miserable. And Phil wanted to find something for us to do on New Year's Eve. So there's a thing here in Philly called the Spirit of Philadelphia, where it cruises the Delaware River. It's really a nice experience. That's the Spirit of Philadelphia. It's a big ship. There's multiple floors. There's food. There's music. And it's really fun. And we've done it several times. Then there is the Benjamin Franklin yacht. Same company, but what it is, it's a Spirit of Philadelphia boat from like the 50s, so it's a lot smaller. And let's just say it's the econo-buy version of the Spirit of Philadelphia, but that's all we could get, and we didn't know any better. And so I'm pretty miserable. I'm already feeling like I'm on a rocking boat, and then we get on an actual rocking boat that's doing this. So I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, I was miserable. We're all dressed up. Okay, I've never seen that show, but yeah, that's me. So it was just a miserable night. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ben, yeah. I was just miserable the whole time. They kind of had fun, but the boat was very crowded and packed. And so then the whole point was so Phil could see the darn fireworks from the river. Because they launch them from the river, so you're right there. Only what we didn't know is they advertised, we go and we go up the river and then we come down the river and we'll be right under the fireworks. Well, they went up the river in the wrong direction and they never came back. They turned around, but we're like 1.5 miles, 2 miles up the river. So all you could see were these little like boop, boop, boop in the sky. Nowhere near the actual fireworks. Now, the people on the boat... How can I say it kindly?
Revolted?
No, but I don't want to sound snobbish.
Don't say it.
I'll just say that they were not the type of people that we would normally hang with, and I'll leave it at that. Nice people, just not...
It was their first...
There were some awkward conversations.
It was their first boat ride. Let's put it that way.
And to have 4 gay men and like... Yeah, it was just, it was terrible. And I was just not feeling good. And I felt bad that I was bringing these guys all down, but yeah.
Yeah, so many people came to the rescue and brought you your food and made sure you were okay.
Yes, because at that point, after a week, I was able to start eating. So I was able to eat, and I could tolerate a little alcohol. So I had a couple whiskey and ginger ales, highballs. But yeah, I was pretty miserable the whole time. So that was my worst New Year's ever. And I'm glad it's over. I usually stay in and watch the ball drop on TV. You know, that's my other than going to a formal dinner in a nice place, like I'm fine with that. All right, may I try this pork, please?
Oh, this is fun.
Okay.
Kind of forgot about this one.
I live near Atlantic City, and we attend, but not participate, in the Polar Bear Plunge for charity. Oh, yeah. I used to know someone whose husband or father did that every year. I
wonder if our friend Gene
from
camp would do that. He does everything else at 78.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, this is pretty good.
I'm almost done with it over here. I'm making lots of noise.
I'm talking. Oh my goodness.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The thing I taste the most is the apple. Went into it. but the apple's sweet and the sauerkraut. So
Yeah, it pulls the sauerkraut down.
Yeah.
Mellows it a bit.
Washed down with a little Noe and Chandon. So yay.
Yeah. So anyway, some years we go out to Long Island with Lance and Ken. We usually do a winery tour. Sometimes Lance will cook a dinner and invite people over. Sometimes there's a little party. But it's just nice to be out there, relaxing away from home. So we'll be out. Unfortunately,
we need a reason to spend more money at wineries and champagneries.
Unfortunately, we can't do it this year on New Year's Eve because Phil has to work all week, and New Year's Eve is, as you know, on a Wednesday or Tuesday. New Year's Day is Wednesday. But we're going to go out to Lansing in a couple weeks and spend a weekend out there. So it'll be a nice way to kick off 2025. Spending money we don't have on wine that we don't need to drink, but it's going to be delicious and wonderful. So, all right, let's got a little bit of time.
Hold on. This was kind of fun because
I was just going to bring up parades. We talked about the Mummers Parade. Yolanda says, my favorite memory was going to the Rose Bowl with my older brother. It was my first trip to California. Now, didn't one of your kids?
So that I like this one because I get to talk about this one. So, the Rose Bowl is a little special in our family. Not because we watch football, but growing up, I was really involved in high school marching band. All three of our kids were very involved with high school marching band.
Yep.
My oldest daughter was in marching band in Washington Township in New Jersey, which is Turnersville, that general area. There's 5 Washington Townships in New Jersey.
But down here in South Jersey.
Right. And they were a very large high school marching band, 300 people, 190 in the band and 110 in the marching
They
band.
actually need a semi and then 2 or 3 cube trucks to move all the equipment.
And 12 school buses.
12 school buses, yeah.
So they were up force. I can't even remember how many years ago. It was a long time ago.
Before I met you.
They were the first high school marching band to ever be invited to the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
So they were the Washington Township, and the show producer for us was Todd Marcarci, who dressed them all up in roses. For people who live in the Philadelphia and South Jersey area, Todd Marcarci is well known. He's the producer and director of the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade and the Christmas Parade.
Yep.
Except all those years ago, he was just a little intern at Westchester High School. So
college. He was in college. When
Westchester University, I'm sorry. So they were the first ones. Now, there have been many high school marching bands since then, but up until that point, there was never a high school marching band.
That was before you met me, and we've been together 25 years, so a long time ago.
It would be, Michelle's 40-something now.
I don't know. I may have to slit my wrist when she turns 50. At least I should be in my 60s by then. So parades. Mummers here in Philadelphia. We also see the Rose Parade, but Mummers are the big thing.
Oh, here we go.
Camden Aquarium was our best New Year's. Yes, Joe. Yeah, I'm so glad because, you remember? Clink, 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 clink. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Many years ago, I was in the Mummers Parade and have also done a polar bear plunge on New Year's. Both include a lot of alcohol, like many great memories. I used to work in Philadelphia many years ago, and it was one year where they actually had to cancel the Mummers Parade on New Year's because the weather was so bad. There was snow, there was a blizzard, so they moved it out a week, but I had to work Saturday, so I had to go into Philadelphia and work. And walking back from my office to where I would pick up the train, you would have thought it was New Year's Day because everyone was still celebrating it as if it were New Year's Day. And the city this is in Center City, reeked. All you could smell was beer and, tinkle. So you're walking through Center City past all these posh shops and fancy hotels, and it's just like beer. And occasionally like, oop, that's not beer. It's crazy.
We did that one already. Here we go. This will make you
Nina.
happy, dear.
Oh, we host a formal multi-course dinner on New Year's Day. Everyone gets dressed up in their finest, and we all gather, put on airs, and eat a lot of really good food. Oh, I love that. I would love to do that. maybe next year for 2026 we'll do that. So Lancey, can you have a year to buy a tux? But there will be no portraits this year, that year.
Well, this one's interesting.
What? Excuse me. Our parents are from Cuba, and their traditional New Year's food is suckling pig. Again, pork. That's cool. Why? Because when pigs root out the truffles, they root forward. Janine says that sounds fun. Well, then maybe next year y'all can come up for it. Janine. All right, we're coming up on time.
Let's talk about what we got going on.
That hour went fast today. I wasn't sure it was going to. So what's going on? So what's next on Let's Celebrate TV? I've been promising you guys Rhode Island clam chowder, and I finally perfected it, and we're going to do it. That's
I would love to see Janine in a gown.
Yes. Janine in a gown, Peggy in a gown. Yeah.
They can trade high heels.
Right? So we're going to be doing more soups in general. Excuse me. Because it's cold. It's winter here. And we're going to start off with Rhode Island clam chowder. Now, you don't know what that is. You're like, well, there's New England clam chowder and there's Manhattan clam chowder. Well, there are other variations. This is a clear, more clam forward clam chowder. Very light and delicious. Yeah.
I take it you don't wear gowns.
All right, I'll wear the gown. It's fine. No problem. Wouldn't be the first time. What else is coming up? We're going to be doing more seafood. We're eating healthier. We're cutting down the red meat, so we're eating more seafood. We're going to start off with this really good fish stew that I found that is, and I've tweaked, and it's super easy, and it's really delicious. I'm going to try, I won't promise, I won't commit completely, but I'm going to try to add some more entertaining tips and tricks into some of our regular episodes. Whether it be this would be great for a blah, blah, blah for your, or let's plate this up for you and plate it however. I'm going to try and add more of that into our episodes. Now, we've taken a couple weeks off for the holidays of filming. Happy New Year to you too, Andrea. Thank you. Yes, blessings to us all. Thank you. And then...
And I think finally I'm caught up. I spent the last 4 or 5 days hitting all 200 small YouTube channels and commenting, which is how I found Val's Looney Kitchen before I spit the coffee out my nose. So I think I'm all caught up. I had a couple with Violet yesterday and a couple with Andrea, but I think I'm all finally caught up.
You've done Black Cat Kitchen a couple
And again,
recently.
if you know a small channel that you think I should take a look at, please send it to me.
Yeah.
You can either leave it on our Facebook page or send it via email to info@Let'sCelebrateTV. We're looking for cooking channels, lifestyle channels, things like that, that show a face and a personality, not just a camera looking over a pot.
Which certainly the one we featured today
is, it was the perfect definition of that.
And a great way to end 2024 with a Looney, crazy, fun channel. So what is our next live stream going to be? In 2 weeks. What's for breakfast, Mom? Well, you know what? We're going to have pancakes. And we're going to talk about and cook various types of pancakes. You know, not only regular pancakes that we'll make from scratch, none of the mix, but different types. But then there's crepes, French crepes, Italian crispelli. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to try and make all of that. And we're going to have just some silly fun and eat lots of carbs.
And we're going to have a pancake bar.
We're going to have, yes, a pancake bar.
We have not done this.
No, we have not. But we should, because I've done biscuits twice, and they've done well. The second one especially, so we could do that, Joe. Or you can come over and cook it for us, because I know you...
Or we could do CCB.
We've talked about that too, but Joe Brennan could come and cook sausage and biscuits for us.
There we go. You do the sausage and gravy, he does the biscuits.
No, he could do it all.
Of course, you've noticed that the oven is not over there. We have decided to save up some money, so we need lots more subscribers and people buying T-shirts. We're going to spend about $1,000, and we're going to put a 30-inch electric oven down here in the studio. We got a special permission from the town to do it in the name of that this is a TV studio and not a second kitchen, because then you would have to have
egress
and all sorts of things. But they have given us a go-ahead and blanket to do a full oven down here. So, Joe, we'll be calling.
No cooktop. I still have to use my little butane burners.
And they were very specific about that. You can't have the cooktop, but you can have the oven.
That's fine. I don't need a cooktop. I have my little butane burners and an induction burner. All right, so we're a little over. Shall we let these happy people get on with their Sundays?
And as we're doing that...
Hold on.
It's okay. You can pour that.
Hold on. I just don't put that up yet. Now, I know. Someone after last live stream wrote to us saying how mean and horrible I am because...
All right, I'm going to stop that. Let's bring that one up before we go to the end.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So, we banter back and forth. We bicker sometimes. I make faces at him. He makes faces at me just as much. And you all know, and some of you know us personally, so you know it's all just silly banter for the show. It's not real. And this person wrote in saying what a horrible person I am because I don't appreciate my husband. And the eye rolls, the sarcastic comments, the blah, blah, blah. And his... Obviously, your husband is a better person than you because he tolerates, but you should just get divorced and find someone, and I will never subscribe to you. Like this whole hateful. And Phil, first, he was going to respond, and he started like, and then he went, wait, no, I don't have to, what? I don't have to justify myself. Yeah, well, we saw the Shaw's comment last time. But, most people get a kick when we bicker a little bit, but and of course, keyboard warrior. But it was hateful. Like, we took the comment down completely because it was just that hateful. Some of the stuff she said about me, and and Phil was like, I don't want our regulars or our fans starting a whole war with this, and we don't have to justify anything. But it just galls me, like, wow, you don't even know us. And maybe if you watch the whole live stream and watch some more, you would know that we're just being silly and stupid. So, Happy New Year, everyone, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you all celebrate.
Thanks to our supporters, Hank and AJ, Brad and Brian, Carol, Joe and Peggy, Robin, Megan, Gary, Kevin, ARH, Rode, B&H Microphones, and everyone in chat today.
And Pepper Tree Villa and all of you, thank you. Happy New Year.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.